Okay. Can you guys hear me on your Facebook, YouTube, and all the other platforms? New Shahada's present. Okay. I'm sorry for being a little bit late dealing with some issues. Hold on. Um, uh, okay. Y'all see, this is going to be the topic. I'm going to set that right there. Okay. Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Sunnah Followers Kids program. And even though this is the Sunnah Followers Kids program, my new shahadas are here too. And this class is it's another example as to how Islam appeals to the intellect of anyone who's over the age of understanding. And in Islam, the age of understanding is 6 years old. Okay, so that's why these kids have a easy time understanding Islam because it makes such sense. It appeals to their hearts and also the parents. And also, before I begin tonight's topic for the kids, I want the kids to pay attention and the parents. If your children are on social media, you have to watch them, make sure, because there is so many phones and apps that can ring into their phone. Your daughters could be actually conversing with nasty, dirty men who are looking for third world, from looking to leave their third world country to come to America. Okay? Please, guys, I would not allow any of my children to have Facebook. Please do not allow your children, boys or girls, to download Facebook because Facebook is dangerous. You know, your phone gets to ringing, and these are people you don't know. Oh my God, I see how easily you new Muslim women get sucked into the game. I see why these men use Facebook so they can prey upon you weak sisters. You done converted to Islam. Your relationship with Allah has not been developed. You know, you're looking for a new way of life, a new change, and these men will call you and tell you everything that you want to hear, make you feel that you are the world, and they're using you to get to America or to do other things. So I see how y'all fall for it. I also see how you elder Muslim women fall for it. You know, you're going through a rough time in life, you're lonely, depressed, you feel like you have no one, and then these men are calling your phone on from Facebook, and they're talking to you with these accents and these sweet voices, and they're young. And they're young, younger than you. That's what I mean by young. And they're offering, oh, I can give you the world. I was Muslim and all my life. And they prey upon your weakness, your insecurity. That's why I'm telling you, as a parent, raise your daughters. Teach your daughters the hierarchy of love. The hierarchy of love is number one, you don't love no one or nothing more than Allah. Number two, you don't love no one or nothing more than the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And number three, you have to love yourself. You have to have respect for yourself, young girls. You have to look at yourself for what you truly are as a Muslim female. You are a woman of respect. You are a woman of dignity. You're better than everyone else. The Prophet Muhammad said one day there was a black bird with a red beak amongst all the other black birds. They didn't have a red beak. The prophet said, you see that black bird with the red beak? He stands out over all the others. The others don't have that red beak. That's how the Muslim woman is. The Muslim female is. Because you believe, Laila, Hayallah, young girls, Muhammad Dor Rasulullah, you're better than any other woman on planet Earth. And what that means that there's a certain character. If a man wants to be with you, he has got to follow the laws of Islam. He can't treat you like a kafir woman. Kafir women pick up men off of Facebook. Kafir women pick up men from bars. Kafir women pick up men off the street. You're better than that. You ain't no kafir. If a man is interested in you, he got to go through your father. And if your father ain't alive, then your brother or your uncle or your cousin. And if you don't have none of them, he has to contact an imam. But don't no man call you. I want all you young Muslim girls listening to me. It is haram. It is forbidden. It is forbidden for any man who is not your father, your uncle, your brother to contact you with his voice or with his face. Any man who does that is treating you like a kafir. You girls are not kafirs. You're better than that. It's an insult. Don't insult none of us by coming to us like you would a tramp on the street. We are Muslim women. We are women of dignity, women of class. We're better than that. And those female companions were the same. Didn't no man come and get in Khadijah's face and ask her to be his woman? Didn't no man come knocking on her door saying, I want you to be my woman? Even the prophet didn't do that. They knew not to. Khadijah was a woman of class. You couldn't treat her like a prostitute. So I'm telling you women, you parents out there, your daughters, if you are allowing your children to download and be on YouTube, they're getting, what is this? Facebook, they're getting phone calls. They're getting calls from men. You may not know, but I'm telling on them. I'm telling on them because I've been getting them. Because I got Facebook. I don't have Facebook downloaded on any of my phones except for one. The only phone that I have Facebook downloaded on is the SunnahFollowers. And I didn't download that call thing. It comes with it. And ever since I've downloaded it to the SunnahFollowers phone, my phone has not stopped ringing for 24 hours. Nonstop. And they are the most ugly men I have ever seen in my life. They look like shaitan. And all of them come from third world countries. Ain't no American calling. Ain't no Emirate calling. Ain't no Kuwaiti calling them. Those the dudes with the money. You getting a third world country loser scabs calling. So y'all better watch your daughters. Take that Facebook app off their phone and their computers. Now, I don't know about them other apps, Twitter and stuff, but I know Facebook because mine is blowing up. And for you brothers out there, you got the wrong one. Do you think that a woman of my caliber would even give you the time of the day? You better bounce. else, I'm a dyer. And you will not treat me like that. All right. Yeah, I had to make that because we got a lot of girls here, little kids here. Y'all hear that on the Zoom room? Delete Facebook from your daughters and your sons. Don't let them have that app on their cell phone. All right. And this is what we're going to be speaking about today. I had to change the topic because I got so angry behind that because I thought about my kids. The phone's been ringing, you know, from them third world country green card seekers. And I thought about my girls here, my young girls like Sabrina and them who are learning the deen, you know, and growing. They don't have Facebook anyway. I know Sabrina ain't got it. But anyway, subhanallah, leadership. In addition to those phone calls coming from the third world seekers, country seekers, I've also got 2 calls from a couple of my new shahadas here. Sister Sarah. Okay, I'm getting ready to answer you now. I got a lot of new shahadas. I got over 50 new shahadas. And one of the questions that I was presented with this morning was, is it true, Sister Laila, that as a Muslim woman, we can't be a leader? And subhanallah, I told her to come here because that's the topic for the kids class. Today for the kids class, we're going to speak about leadership in gender roles, how Islam demands, you know, that we abide by Allah's laws, Allah's rules, you know. And I said, so since the topic is supposed to be leadership, you know, and masculinity for the kids, I'm going to change it around and turn it into leadership and gender roles. Okay, so I'm glad that the Sister Sarah and them are here. Michelle, all of you guys are coming in. Good job. Get the Reddit group in here. Get the Reddit group in here because I'm getting ready to address this. And also the hadith. The hadith that the sister brought to me about women in leadership roles. I'm going to go over that too. So let's start off by putting the PowerPoint up on the screen. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Tonight's chapter, this is chapter 23 of the book Dunya. And again, for my new shahadas, for those of you who have not yet purchased this book, please go to Amazon. This is how the book looks. It's written by my student, Brother Daryl Abdullah Kurt. And we're going to be covering chapter 23 of the book that addresses leadership in the community, men as leaders, and the role of women. And this chapter answers the question that you new Shahada women were discussing earlier this morning, much earlier than when I wake up because I had to turn off that phone. But it answers the question. So let me, I'm looking at you guys in the group too. I'm in the group now. I just joined. Can y'all see me? My name, Locks. Y'all see Locks? Locks is me. So don't ban me. LOX is me. I'm in the group so I can see the typing because I can only see the people that's on my friend list. So for those of you who are not on my friend list, I am inside the Reddit group room with you so I can see your comments and questions too. So we're going to cover chapter 23 in this book. And it's going to address the issue of leadership in Islam. And let's start off here with the first page here, the first PowerPoint. Again, this chapter will make the strong argument of the essential role of men, how in Islam it's the role of men to defend our community, not women. It's the role of the men to defend our community. However, that doesn't mean that women don't play an important role. That does not mean that we don't play an active role within the community. Okay? And again, everything in Islam, nothing in Islam is based on your feelings, your assumptions. Everything in Islam is based on Allah and what He said, and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and what he commanded us to do. So the first thing that we should be teaching our children, as our children grow up, you want to let them know from the beginning what they were created for. You were created to worship Allah, and also instill in them from the time that they turn 2 up that not only that were they created to worship Allah, but also what their role is in life as a female, or what their role is in life as a male. That's how we raise our Muslim children. Okay? And also we teach them good character, good manners, self-esteem, and all of that, so they can, as they continue to grow, they can handle the trials of life. And how do we know what to teach them? Because Allah has told us. He told us what the role of women are in life. He told us what the role of men are in life. And we have the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who explained what each and every one of our roles are in life. And one of the things that I have told you, sisters, if you're raising daughters, Surah Nisa goes into detail about the woman's role. That's why it's called the chapter of women. And it also talks about the responsibilities of men in Islam and women. And in that surah, Allah lets it be known that who are the leaders? The leaders of this nation are not women. The leaders of this nation are men. Men are supposed to lead us and protect us, not just in marriage, okay, but in life, period. Okay? But this is kind of hard for our children growing up in America to understand, because we're living in the days in which the gender roles have become blurred. We're living in the days of fitan, the days of the LGBTQ. Right now, as we speak, the schools are teaching our children that they can decide whether they want to be a male or a female. Right now, as we speak, the schools are teaching our girls that they can be men, that there's nothing that a man does that they can't do. So it's going to be hard for us as parents. That's why you Muslim women have to be consistent in learning this religion correctly from the proper qualified people that teach it, like myself. Because you are going to have to be the one. It's your job as the woman to lead your children. It's your job as the woman to educate them and teach them, to instill that self-respect, self-esteem, and good characters in your daughters and sons, okay? But Allah has outlined that when it comes to leadership, that role belongs to the men. Belongs to the men. And He tells us why. Allah tells us in the Quran, because He has given men physical strength over us. I don't care how many weights a woman lifts. I don't care how she works out. A woman will never be stronger than a man. That's just the way Allah made us. Okay, so because of that, men are the protectors. Okay, and we have the example of the Prophet Muhammad. That's why you have to learn the Prophet Muhammad's life. When you look at their community, the men were the protectors. Yes, the women went out and fought too, but they went out and fought because then that was the culture. That was the culture. We all go down. We not letting you take us as a prisoner. I'm not going to be a concubine to a Kafir man. I am not going to be treated like a Kafir woman. So in Islam, when it comes to war, the women, we go out on the battlefield too. Because as the female companion said, never will you Kafir men touch this. You can have your way with a corpse. So that's why the women went out and fought with the men too. Because we all going down. That's the reality. We're better than you. You're not deserving of me. So I'll die a martyr, protecting myself, than allow you to degrade me and treat me like a peasant Kafir. So that's why the women were out there. That's the truth. All right? But other than war times, it's the job of the men to defend us. It's the job of the men to lead us. Masculinity is a gift given to the male of the sexes by Allah. And this is something that you sisters and brothers are going to have to put in the heart and mind of your sons, because your sons are being stripped of masculinity. They're being taught that masculinity is bad, that women can be masculine too. So the modern world will attempt to destroy masculinity and blur the lines between a man and a woman, a girl and a boy. So you're got to come behind them, let them know, you are the leader. You are a man. And the fact that Allah created you to be a male, a boy, means that He created you to be leaders on earth. Not your sister. You. This is something different. Your sister is the leader of her home. Your sister, she will be the leader of her children. She will be the one to help formulate and remind any males that she give birth to of their masculinity. But it's your job. You're the boy. You're the man of the house. You're the man who will lead. You're the man who will make the difference for this ummah. So you got to go behind what these kids are learning in school and learning from society and reiterate what Allah says. And this is a challenge. And a good surah of the Quran to read for your sons is Surah Ali Imran. Because in Surah Ali Imran, that's the third chapter of the Quran, is Allah speaks about the significance of men being leaders. So you want to remember Nisa, Surah Nisa for your girls, Ali Imran for your boys, because Allah goes into detail about how the men are supposed to be at the forefront, even especially in the times of trial. So, if the men are the leaders of this nation, what role do we women play? And here's how I change this to answer the question that the new Shahada, Sister Sarah, and a bunch of other sisters on our new Shahada Reddit group brought to me this morning in between the sick phone calls. All right. What is the role of women? Well, it's our job to support the men. Okay. Women have a vital role in supporting and empowering the men of this nation as leaders. Oftentimes, we like to compare ourselves to the prophet and the companions. There ain't no comparison. And let me reiterate this. You're not supposed to compare your life to the life of the prophet and the companions, because your life ain't nothing like theirs. What we're supposed to do is try to learn from them. What you have to do, first of all, is learn the life of Khadijah, radiallahu anha, because she gets abused more than any of the wives when it comes to comparisons. How many of you new shahadas know the life of Khadijah? Very few of you do. Do you know that Khadijah never, ever, ever worshipped an idol? No. Khadijah was never a pagan. Even as a child, she was one of the few of the Arabs who believed La ilaha illallah. She married 2 men from amongst her tribe who were rich. Both of them died fighting. After the second one died, that's when she said, I ain't marrying nobody else from Quraysh, because what do they have to offer me? She was a woman of class. She said, I'll stay by myself and raise my children. She had a son and a daughter that she had to raise. But her father and her husbands were rich, and when they were both all killed off in fighting, her husband left her and her father left her their inheritance. So she said, what can a man do for me except give me the physical that you women can't get over? She said, I can provide for myself. I can maintain myself. And through the help of Allah, I can protect myself. She said, any man that wants to be with me, he got to be better than me. So you women don't compare yourself to Khadijah. Y'all ain't in her group. Y'all ain't in her circle. You a new shahada. You got to first get a relationship with Allah. Y'all's relationship are with men. Get a relationship with Allah. Don't ever compare yourself to Khadijah. Khadijah said, there is nothing that a man can give me, especially the men in her time, because they all worshipped idols. They didn't believe Muhammad, they didn't believe La ilaha illallah. And the Prophet Muhammad had not reached prophethood yet. Khadijah was following the religion of Ismail. You women don't know this. Y'all don't know a Khadijah. She was following Islam, the religion of Ismail. And she said, the men are beneath me. They worship rocks. They worship idols. Allah has put me in a position where I can provide for myself. I can maintain myself and I can protect myself. How does she protect herself? Off of who she was, because she didn't come from trash. Even though her father worshiped idols, he was wealthy, he was a warrior. So if anybody wanted to try to threaten Khadijah, all she had to do is say, I am the daughter of Khuwaylid, and the man would jump back. So that's how she protected herself. They knew not to mess with her because she was the daughter of Khuwaylid. All right. So she said, these men have nothing for me. So I'll stay by myself. Take care of my kids. If a man comes along who believes in Allah, who doesn't worship idols, then I would consider marrying him. And so Khadijah was single for years, guys. She was single for about 20 years. And she was satisfied with the qadr of Allah. Because like she said, she wasn't going to lower herself to no man. Abu Jahl, he wanted to marry her. She said, I could never marry him. He's a pagan. Abu Lahab wanted to marry her. She said, I could never marry him. He's a pagan. So it wasn't until the Prophet Muhammad came around. When she met the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet Muhammad didn't worship idols either. He wasn't a prophet. He was just a regular man. But he grew up like Khadijah. He never worshiped an idol. He always believed in the Lord of Ismail. She hired him to handle her business affairs because he was trustworthy. And she was impressed with him because, number one, he didn't pray to an idol. He used to go off into the desert just like she used to do. She used to go off in the desert and look at the sky and talk to Allah from the time she was a child. The Prophet Muhammad did the same thing. She was impressed with him. She said, oh my goodness, this man is like me. He believes la ilaha illallah and he's trustworthy. It was her servant. It was one of the servants of Khadijah that came and said, Khadijah, why don't you marry Muhammad? Because he's just like you. He's trustworthy. He believes in Allah like you. And then the same servant went to the Prophet Muhammad and she put the idea in his mind. She said, oh, Muhammad, why don't you marry the lady Khadijah? The Prophet Muhammad said she would never marry me. He said she's a woman of beauty. She's a woman of class. She's a woman of integrity, and she's rich. He says she doesn't need a man to provide or maintain her. She doesn't need a man to protect her. He says she would never want to settle for me. I'm a nobody. And that servant told the prophet, that's not true. You are somebody. You're somebody like her. You believe in Allah. See, everything is about Allah with these people. It ain't about sex. It ain't about money. It ain't about moving to a country. It's about Allah. So then the prophet told this servant, well, if she'll agree to marry me, then I'll marry her. That's how it happened. So the servant went back to Khadijah and said, Muhammad said he would marry you if you would have him. So Khadijah said, oh, okay, well, go contact my brothers. Go tell it to my brothers. They never met together. The Prophet Muhammad never met with Khadijah like that. She never met with him like that. They never talked. They never talked like that. So the servant took it to Khadijah's brother. And the brother went to the Prophet Muhammad's uncle. And they agreed. The uncle agreed. The brother agreed. And that's how they were married. It ain't like y'all doing today with this Facebook. Hopping around from dude to dude, woman to woman on social media. Don't ever compare yourselves to those companions. Looking for whatever y'all looking for. You ain't looking for Allah. Khadijah wasn't looking for a man. She was looking for somebody to get her closer to Allah. The Prophet Muhammad wasn't looking to get laid either. He wasn't looking for a green card. He was looking for a woman that believed in Allah. And they were married just like that, real quick, and never even talked together. Never knew each other. So that's when we talk about making the prophet and his companions our examples. That means y'all got to first learn about them, learn their life story, and then emulate them. The Prophet Muhammad said, emulate us. That means try to be like us. Get your priorities in order. Allah first, the Prophet Muhammad second, and then yourself. After you do that, then you worry about that flesh, the sins of the flesh and the desires of this dunya. The companions weren't into that crap. All right? So, after the Prophet married Khadijah, she became a great example for us as females in how we're supposed to be as a wife. Because after they were married, Khadijah spent the rest of her life supporting him because he became a prophet of Allah. And he had a lot of doubts about himself. She was the one that helped him to see his potential. She was the one when he was afraid and nervous that he would fail, she would pick him up and quote to him his good qualities and give him the strength to do what Allah wanted him to do. So the role of the woman, we are not leaders, but behind every leader is a good woman. It's our job to support the men in our lives by being there to pick them up when they fall. And if it comes to war, we stand with them. Okay? So you have to raise your children, especially your daughters, to resist the ideas of society for feminism. Because again, here in America, they want the girls to think that to stay at home and support your husband, this is bad. No, this is good because that's what Allah created you to do. Okay? And again, Surah Nisa for your girls explains that. It explains the importance of distancing yourself from what society says a woman should be, and instead become what Allah says a woman should be. All right? And again, it's the job of the men to be public. Now, I get a lot of people that ask me, Sister Laila, look at you. You're on the internet, but they forget, like I tell y'all, when y'all make statements, look at the word. You're on the internet teaching Islam. You just said it. I'm on the internet. That's not public. That's public to a certain extent. Okay? I'm on the internet teaching Islam in its truthfulness with the understanding of the companions. Why? Because there's a need for it. We're living in 2025. The gender roles have become blurred. Islam has become strange. Not that many women and men know this religion correctly. In fact, most Muslim women and men don't know it. They too busy on social media dealing with the flesh and the dunya. Somebody got to step up and teach. This is lawful. But will you see me at a conference? That's real public. Nope. Will you see Laila at an ICNA convention standing on a stage? Oh, heck no. That ain't my role as a woman. I'm going to take the back seat. The back seat for the woman is the internet to teach like I'm doing in my Zoom room from my home behind my screen. We women take the back seat. We put the men in the front. Who's in the front of my website? You got Kareem Abu Zaid. He's in the front. You got Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atli. He's out there with the front. You got Dr. Ibrahim Daramali. They're the ones traveling, giving the lectures. You got Dr. Ali. Oh yeah, Dr. Ali, he's traveling, doing the lectures. I got the back seat. It's the role of me to support the men. I support the men. I run the website. Oh yeah, the woman takes care of the home. The woman takes care of the home. I do the videos. I do the production. I make the schedule. I even call the shots. I'm at home doing it. But now when it comes out to going out into the world, the global earth, to convey it, I leave that to Kareem. I leave that to Atli. I leave that to Dramali. I leave that to Brother Youssef. I leave that to Dr. Ali, Dr. Asim. I know my place as a woman, but you sisters don't. But you need to learn it and educate it. Teach it to your children, to your girls. Okay? So we women too have a crucial role in Islam. Our role is to support the men. Our role is to educate them. These men wouldn't be the men they were. They are if it wasn't for their mamas. Who do you think Kareem Abu Zayd's first teacher was? Who do you think Muhammad Saeed Atli's first teacher was? Their mothers. Who was my first teacher? My mother. And then my stepfather. So theirs was their mother and then their fathers. So it's our job as women to support the men by educating them from the time they come out of our womb and then supporting them in their endeavors. Everybody understand that? Don't get it twisted. So now I'm going to ask this question to the kids. Remember the men, the boys, you're going to grow up to be men. As a man, what can you do to help keep the true traditional Islam alive? Since we got Muslim men from Muslim countries on social media making Islam look bad by talking to women on Facebook, talking to women, you know that's haram. Y'all know that. That's not putting a positive influence. That's not making a positive influence on Islam when we got these brothers calling you a woman who is not a mahram to them on the phone. What can you do to make this religion, to keep the true Islam alive? And as a female, I want you girls to tell me, what can you do as a girl and grown up to be a woman to help keep the true traditional Islam alive? I'm going to ask all you kids that, and I want to hear your answers. Let's start with Amalia, Princess Amalia. What can you do as a girl to help keep the true traditional Islam alive? Go ahead.
Wearing a hijab.
MashaAllah, and that's important because most of these women, look at them on Facebook. They ain't covered correctly. They're not wearing hijab. They're not wearing a abaya. They're not dressed properly. So you can change the stereotype by following Allah's laws correctly when it comes to dress. Good job. Sister Amari, what can you do as a beautiful Muslim girl to help keep the traditional true Islam alive? Go ahead, Amari.
Keep learning.
MashaAllah, that's the number one answer. Good job, Amari. I'm proud of you. Good job. The number one thing that any of us and all of us can do is to continue to be consistent and regular, as Amari said, in learning the true traditional Islam. That's the best answer of the day. Good job. Sister Sabrina, what else can a person do as a female to help keep the true traditional Islam alive?
You can keep it alive by showing women because you're beautiful, since you can dress nicely and show them that you don't have to wear black colors and dark colors and cover all our faces. We can still wear beautiful clothes and baggy clothes, but still look beautiful better than others.
Mashallah, exactly. Exactly. There's a misconception that we Muslim women have about ourselves because, as Amari said, we don't learn the deen. Because we're not consistent in learning the true Islam, a lot of us women think that we have to wear black or dark colors. A lot of Muslim women think that it's obligatory for us to cover our face and hands in the public. And a lot of us think that we can't wear pants. Okay? Like she said, we can change and revive the Sunnah, bring back the traditional Islam by showing other Muslim women that that's not true. The Prophet Muhammad's wives, I tell y'all, they did not cover their faces. They did not walk around with burqas on, and they did not wear gloves. I tell y'all that, and I've proven that, okay? And the Prophet's wives wore nice clothing. They never wore black. They never wore dark colors. In fact, we have the hadith of Atiyah, and the source is Bukhari. She said we never wore dark colors. We, the female companions, we never wore dark colors unless we were grieving the death of someone. They wore silk. They wore satin. They wore polyester mixed with silk. The Prophet's wives were beautiful. Many are the hadiths that speak about their beautiful appearance. Aisha, radiallahu anha, her favorite color was red and pink. She used to wear red and pink a lot, and she had a wolf jacket. When the nights in the desert would get cold, she would wear her wolf skin jacket. She was beautiful. So we can tear down and bring back the traditional Islam, by being attractive in our appearance. Okay? Nowhere does Allah say that He likes ugliness and women have to be ugly. Allah loves beauty. You have to represent, and you can be beautiful without being gaudy. I can be beautiful without overdoing it, in other words. I don't have to put on, look like a prostitute to be beautiful, because prostitutes are not beautiful anyway. Nothing's beautiful about a prostitute. They look ugly and fake. Good job, Sabrina. Sister Amira, what's something that you can do as a female to help keep the true traditional Islam alive?
You can keep coming to these lectures and you can share them with people.
Exactly. Come to the classes and share. I try to put shorts out of all the lectures. Take the shorts and share them on your social media platform. Maybe some old man will hear it, and he won't call you on your phone from Facebook. Maybe it'll make him feel guilty for talking to a bunch of women when this is haram on Facebook. Good job. Sister Asma Najma, what's something else we can do as women to help keep the true traditional Islam alive?
Show the non-Muslims and some of the Muslims that Islam is not a bad religion, and show that that it encourages you to be kind and caring.
Exactly. There's a misconception that the whole world has that our way of life is oppressive. Show them that you can obey Allah, and by obeying Allah, how kind Islam really is, and also treat people nicely. Look at how you treat the non-Muslims who are not hurting you. Look at how you treat your brothers and sisters in faith. You can show a lot just by being kind and respectful to others. It's disrespectful when you men get on Facebook and go on these new shahadas Facebook pages and start calling them. You're treating them like you would a kafir, a prostitute. That's not kind. Allah is going to ask you, men, why did you degrade your own women? You brothers are going to be held accountable for all the new shahadas that you use and the old Muslim women that you take advantage of by treating them like a kafir or a prostitute. Allah is going to ask you men about that. Okay, Sister Anaya, what else can you do as a female to keep the true traditional Islam alive?
Wearing clean clothes when you go to the masjid.
Do what when you go to masjid, baby?
Wearing clean clothes.
Exactly. Clean clothes. This is a problem. As a Muslim woman, it's our job, to encourage our brothers and sisters. Make sure that your clothes are clean. Allah loves cleanliness. Remember, the women, we are the reminders in the home. We are the leaders inside the home. So even though you're a kid, you can look at your little brother and say, make sure your clothing is clean before he leaves the house. Or your big brother, make sure that your shoes are clean and that your garments are clean. It's our job as females to remind the people in the house, the brothers, the men in the house, when they leave out the house, to look nice. Good job. Good answers. Sister Tahira, what's something else you can do as a female to keep the true traditional Islam alive?
What you can do to keep it alive is by not engaging in what the ignorant people do and continue to do what Allah tells you to do.
Exactly. No matter if all the world got a boyfriend, no matter if everybody on earth got a girlfriend and a boyfriend, they got both today because LGBTQK, you still obey Allah and you stay away from that. And that's showing the people that you are better than them. Just like Khadijah, radiallahu anha, she showed that she's better than all the Quraysh. She stayed single rather than lower herself. She said, there's nothing that you men can do for me that I can't do for myself. I need somebody that's going to bring me closer to Allah. She let the men know it ain't about this dunya. I don't need nothing from you in this dunya. I'm trying to get to paradise. So they knew not to come at her. Good job. So mashallah, very good answers. And before I close out for tonight, here it comes, Sister Sarah. This is the hadith for this week. And this is the hadith that I'm going to go over the meaning of for my new Shahada women that they asked me about. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, never will succeed a nation that makes a woman their ruler. He didn't say Persia. He said any nation, any country, any nation. He said no nation will ever succeed if you have a woman as your ruler. Now, what does this hadith mean? It means exactly what it says. A woman cannot be the ruler of a nation. I cannot be the president of the United States. That's a ruler of a nation. I cannot be the queen of England. That's the ruler of a nation. I cannot be any type of leadership position like that. Also, it means I cannot be the imam of a masjid, because the imam of the mosque is the leader over the mosque. Okay? I cannot be the caliphate. I cannot be a caliph over the entire nation of Muslims. Also a woman, that's why Allah did not send any female prophets. There were no female prophets, because that's also a position of a ruler. But does that mean that I can't be a vice president? Does that mean that I can't be a judge or a lawyer? Okay. Does that mean that I can't be a teacher or a director of a website? This type of stuff we can do. We can do, guys. It's just that positions where you are the head, all decisions fall upon you. You have the final say, and all decisions. This is something that we can't do as women. Why? Because Allah didn't create us that way. We women have this thing called PMS. That means that our body fluctuates each month. Sometimes in a month we become moody. Sometimes in a month we become forgetful. Sometimes in a month we become angry. We become more anxious than any other time. That's PMS, and it never goes away. Even when you don't have a menses. I'm 63. I don't have a menses, but I still suffer with PMS. That's just how Allah made us. Because again, Allah didn't create us as women to make the final decision. Okay, but that does not mean I can't be a teacher, I can't be a vice or an advisor or anything like that. And where's my dalil? Well, Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, he appointed Samra, the daughter of Nuhayk, as the chief and supervisor of the marketplace. And he gave her the powers to carry out her role. She would patrol the marketplace, enjoining good and forbidding evil. And she would discipline the people with a whip if they were doing what they shouldn't do. So there's my dalil, that a woman can do other things. I can be a vice president. I can be a chief steward. I can be a supervisor. I can be a head of a department. But can I rule a nation? No, because the final decision should never fall on a woman for anything, because our decisions flip-flop based on the time of month. And our emotions are all over the place every day of the month. And I hope this is understood. I hope that answers the question. Okay, are there any questions or comments about that hadith? Is it clear, Sister Sarah? Yeah, so you can be in a leadership position. And just to let you guys know, Umar also appointed Aisha. He appointed Aisha as the head of answering questions related to women's issues and marriage. Aisha was never out on Front Street, but again, she was behind the scenes like I am, behind the scenes. All questions about marriage, all questions about women, Umar would have them referred to Aisha to answer. Okay, but she was not on his advising team or any of that. Okay, like I said, we take the back seat. We don't take the front seat. Just like y'all see me, I'm the back seat. This website is the back seat of what is going on out there in the public. All right. Okay, I want to thank everybody for joining and participating in this class for the kids. And again, parents, work on instilling love and self-esteem within your daughters now, so they don't grow up and fall victim to these predators on the internet. And also, sisters, new shahadas, y'all need to turn off, delete that Facebook or whatever it is with these phones ring. These men ain't looking for nothing good. These men are predators. They're shaitan. They're nothing good. Don't answer those calls. Don't talk to those men. Those men are treating you women like prostitutes because Islam forbids that. You don't treat a Muslim woman that way. We're better than that. You women have to learn to love yourself. Think highly of yourself. Understand that it's an insult when they call you. It ain't no compliment. All right. Okay. Subhanakalahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. The class on the exercise class with Sister Wania will be happening in our Zoom room in 15 minutes. And then we have my class on the angels at 6:30 and my class on marriage at 9:30. So inshallah, I'll see you guys later. Subhanakalahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. I already said that. Everybody, assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Wa alaikum salam. Wa alaikum salam.